Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As Fraser Forster looks set to leave Celtic tomorrow with no further sign on whether we're going to get him on a permanent or loan deal, there has been talks of certain people coming on their way to Celtic, and today we're going to be talking about one man in particular. Right, by the title of the video you already know who I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about former Manchester City and former England #1 Mr. Joe Hart, a man who's won 2 Premier League titles, been in Champions League semi-finals, won the FA Cup. He's been there and he's done it all for Manchester City at the highest level. He was a first team keeper for years to a very high level and proved himself to be one of the best keepers in the English Premier League. But for the last few years has been on quite the decline. Now, let me just get out the way. My views are very clear on what I think Celtic should do about signing Joe Hart and signing a goalkeeper. I've echoed all my opinions on Twitter. I've said it all. If you don't follow me, then follow me at RyanStephenF. But over there, I've already gave my opinions on what I think. But I'm going to go through this video and explain why and give some certain reasoning and such, which I don't think is here to try and radicalise you into agreeing with me. It's not anything like that. I just think that Celtic should have one clear and main priority of this transfer window, and that is bring Fraser Forster back on a permanent deal or a loan deal if that's the only possible way to get him into the club. I think that's pretty much evident from the fans of the club that we want that to happen. Everybody wants to see Forster come back. He's had a marvellous season, but the talk is growing increasingly, sort of evident that Joe Hart will be a choice for Celtic, for the scouting team, for the management, for the coaches, that there is a severe possibility he might actually come to Celtic, which for me is completely in the wrong direction of where we should be going. I'm not a fan of this whatsoever. It's not a transfer that pleases me. It's not one that gets me, anywhere near aroused. It's nothing that is just... It just doesn't excite me. It's something I think Celtic should stay well clear of, and I think the reasons I'm going to give in this video show clearly why that is the case and why it's not a transfer that we should be buzzing about. Look, there is no denying that Joe Hart is one of the best keepers the English Premier League has probably seen. In his prime, probably one of the best keepers that they had down there. There's a reason he won 2 Premier Leagues. There's a reason he won 4 Golden Gloves award. There's a reason he won 4 Golden Glove awards, which is a record. He was a fantastic keeper, but the key word of that was. Now, I know what people are going to answer to when I give this point to start off the video, that people are going to say it was the same with Fraser Forster. Joe Hart has not played a Premier League game in, I think it's something like 18 months. He's not seen first team football for a long time. Not in a major game. He's been out of the game for quite a bit now. His performance have dwindled to, levels that would, probably have him more as a championship keeper rather than a Premier League keeper. And there's a reason he's been 3rd choice at Burnley Football Club. Yes, Burnley Football Club, he's been 3rd choice. So why should we, Celtic Football Club, who are looking for their 10th straight league title win, looking for potentially another treble win, looking for European football, be taking a punt on someone who's been 3rd choice at relegation fodder Burnley Football Club? No disrespect to Burnley, but that is the case. That is the honest scenario than what we find ourselves in here. Why should we be taking a punt there? And I know the response is going to be, well, Fraser Forster hadn't played football in about 18 months. He was at Southampton. He became Southampton's 3rd choice and he came to Celtic. Can I just remind you at first, right? When Fraser Forster was brought back into Celtic, there was a lot of people, including myself, who weren't exactly delighted at the signing of Fraser Forster. This was still off the back of a very questionable time within the board's decision to make Neil Lennon manager. I wasn't exactly chuffed that Neil Lennon was made manager at the time. That is something I can't hide. Now, I'm extremely chuffed. Back then, I wasn't. And when he signed in Fraser Forster, my first honest opinion was, Christ, he's going to try and get the band back together. I thought he was going to try and sign everybody for the 2012-13, team of Celtic. People who hadn't been playing football, people who were constantly injured, and I thought that was genuinely going to be the scenario we found ourselves in. I didn't exactly think that Fraser Forster was what we needed at the time. What it's turned out to be now is that Fraser Forster was an incredible signing, and now we're desperate to have him back at the club next year. With Joe Hart, do I think that is going to be the same? I don't. Honestly, don't see that happening. There is no denying that between the sticks, Joe Hart is a good keeper, but his confidence levels have dropped beyond. I think he is someone who has to take a big step down. I think the pressure for playing at a club like Celtic, never mind Burnley, Celtic playing Premier League football, it's too much for him. And I think when you're playing for Celtic, with what fans expect at Celtic Football Club, we're a very demanding fan base. I don't think he's going to be able to cope with that, and I just don't think he's the answer. Let's have a look at the last few years of his career, though. Joe Hart was obviously Man City's #1 choice for years. Then Pep Guardiola was appointed as the new City manager, and from the onset, you know, he said, you know what, you're not going to be my keeper. I don't want you here. Get lost. That was basically the end of Joe Hart's footballing career, to be honest. Like, when you look at it now, probably the end of his footballing career. It was just not the man for him. Pep Guardiola wanted someone who was good with the ball at their feet, and that was not Joe Hart. Which brings me on to another point, right? Celtic fans, over the past few years, have, well, not everybody, a selection of Celtic fans, and you may be one of them if you're watching, which, if you are, I've not got a problem with, but it's just a valid point. Celtic fans have kind of picked up this sort of craze for moaning at Craig Gordon for not being good with the ball at his feet. People have been annoyed at Craig Gordon's passing ability, his confidence with the ball, his toes, everything, you know, that a goalkeeper's second priority is. I think the first priority is being the shot stopper. For me, I'm a very old school football fan in the sense that goalkeepers are meant to save shots, not kick the ball. But a lot of people have grew into the mindset football, they should be good with the ball at their feet. But Celtic fans have picked up this mentality that Craig Gordon was terrible for it. We'd chant abuse at him, we'd shout, we'd voice our discontent on Twitter, saying that he wasn't good enough for the ball at his feet, and it needs to change. If you didn't like that, you're not going to like Joe Hart, because Joe Hart's just as bad, if not worse, than Craig Gordon with the ball at his feet. So there is another major point as to why Joe Hart is probably not the man if you're wanting a keeper who is good with the ball at his feet. I don't even think Fraser Forster is exceptional with the ball at his feet, but he's certainly better than Hart, he's certainly better than Gordon. But Joe Hart was chucked out of Man City by Pep Guardiola. He was given on loan to Torino. This is where the downfall starts to begin. Took a little trip over to Serie A, and as we know for British players, the move to abroad leagues doesn't really turn out. There's very few cases in which it does. Gareth Bale being one of the ones that has kind of worked out. Joe Hart, an example of one of the ones it's not. He had a very bang average at best season. He conceded, I think, something like 67 goals in 33 games. It was terrible. He was getting a very bad write-up. It looked as though he was on the downward slope, and that is where he dropped his #1 spot for England as well. I think it was around the time he got his last cap for England, his 75th and final cap. He then moved on to be West Ham's lone goalkeeper. Pep Guardiola sent him out there, and he was nothing short of absolutely abysmal. He was rank rotten at West Ham, and that is, I believe, the point of his career where it was just full on murdered. It was like beyond fixable. He was letting in howlers week after week. Of course, David Moyes, manager at the time, we know that didn't exactly end fantastically. They had a very, once again, at best, bang average season. And Joe Hart was, to fault for a lot of the goals they conceded. I know a lot of the time I like to be one of those guys that say, well, the defence has got much more of an importance, they've got to stop that. But Joe Hart, his hands were like polo mints. It's a phrase I've been commonly using in the FM save recently, but his hands were genuinely like polo mints. Balls were going through him left, right, centre. Returns back to Man City, of course, released by Man City, and ended up in Burnley. And at Burnley, in his first 19 games, they lost 13 of the 19 he started. Tom Heaton returned from injury, and since then, Joe Hart has seen a handful of games as a first-team goalkeeper. Mostly coming in the cup competitions where he's conceded upwards of 2, 3, 4 goals a game. It has not been the ideal situation for Joe Hart. As someone who I will admit, when he played at Birmingham City, I thought he was the next big thing. I thought he looked incredible. Me, 9-year-old me, was like, oof, what a keeper. Manchester City could have very easily went on and won a Champions League. At the rate he was playing. He got to the semi-finals one year, the last 16 against Barcelona, he's saving Lionel Messi's penalties, made 10 saves at the new camp, a fantastic keeper, but his confidence has been completely, utterly obliterated. It's gone. He's not the man Celtic need, and yes, a lot of people saying, well, let's take the punt on him like we did with Fraser Forster and reinstate that confidence. This year is not the year to do that. It's not the year to take a gamble. We should be doing everything in our power, first of all, to get Fraser Forster back at the club. If not possible, I think there's better options. There's talk about bringing in the boy from AEK Athens, who I think would be a better choice than Joe Hart. I think you've got to look for someone who has been playing regular first-team football, has proven they're a good goalkeeper, and can take the pressure of playing like a club at Celtic. You've got to be able to play to that level. Joe Hart is 33 years of age. He's no longer an England international. And who knows if he'll even get first team football in the next year or so. Not many teams are chomping at the bit to get him now that he's on a free contract, and that as well shows a great deal as to what kind of quality you're dealing with there. I respect Joe Hart for everything he's done. His career is a very talented man, and he's had a very decorated footballing career, something that someone can only wish for. Some footballers don't see anything like that, but Joe Hart, I believe his time as a first team goalkeeper is probably up. I think he is now at that stage where he will be having to deal with, unless he takes a major step down. There's a club like Middlesbrough, I think, have been looking at him. Could go there, could reinstate his confidence there. Celtic's not the club to do it at, and I beg of Celtic not to sign him. A lot of people will disagree, but that is my views. Anyway, I've spoke for long enough. There was more I wanted to add, but we'll be here all day. We're past the 10-minute mark. So if you have enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts towards the potential signing of Joe Hart, seeing him in a Celtic shirt. Do you want it to happen next season? As for me, I think my views are quite evident. Anyway, smash the like button, as I said, and we'll see you all next time.